This is the Blackout Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people that do amazing things. And today I have Miss Lion Hunter, Musemo Handahu.
Yes.
Oh man, thank you for coming in today.
Finally here.
You know, I was in South Africa for a while.
Yeah.
And Zim people have fun.
Listen, we are fun people. Like, we're
So I remember
so
meeting
fun.
you at the CBC thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, there's this, your people, especially most people that know you on Instagram, think you are this person and you're the warmest, most kind person.
you.
Because, you know, people think, oh, because, you know, she's like getting all
People
this
do
likes
think
and
that.
stuff.
But
She's
it's like, you can only take so much from Instagram because there's no like emotion in pictures, or like, you know, you can't really tell my personality in pictures. But
and you're super fun too.
yeah.
So let's go back before Instagram, before the
Oh my
design,
gosh, wow.
before actually let's
Who
go
was I?
back to Zim.
Okay.
How was it like for you growing up? And
Loved it.
yeah,
It was the best time of my life. Honestly, like growing up in Zim was amazing. I grew up in Zim in the 80s and the 90s. And I mean, we were the breadbasket of Africa, okay?
yeah.
So I had a great childhood, great schools, and just literally the best times of my life. Yeah.
And when did you move here?
And I moved here in 2000, end of 2000.
To study or
To study, yes.
What did you go to study?
I went to Acadia and I studied business.
Oh,
know.
obviously.
But I was like pushing towards HR, so like this is completely different.
Oh,
So, like,
HR.
Like I thought I was going to be an HR consultant. Like,
Oh
legit.
man, I mean, I guess you have the people skills and you
Yeah.
can read people and
Yeah.
stuff. But I'm glad you stuck to business because you know, hello. So how was it at wait, I keep mixing up those schools. SNFX, is that what
No,
you were?
Acadia.
Exactly, I keep mixing up those schools. Acadia
Acadia.
is the one that way in
It's in the
Bullfield.
valley, yeah. In
Yeah,
Northfield,
yeah, and then the other one
It's on the other side.
Yeah. I keep mixing it. Okay.
Yeah.
So how was it going
good.
in Acadia?
I just remember being it's a small town, but also I think what sort of helped me kind of navigate that space was because the international students, especially the African students, we were like really close. So that just made things a lot smoother in terms of transition. Also, I came in January, so it was like in the dead of winter. It was tough. So, the struggle was real. It was mad
wait.
real.
And
Yeah.
you know what? And the thing about coming from Southern Africa in December, January to Canada that time is the contrast because it's summer there.
It's so hot. Yeah. And then you just get here. And I remember I think our first stop was London. And I remember we had to get out to transfer to a different airport. And we got out and I literally had the giggles for like 20 minutes. My mom was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "It's so cold." Like I literally had the giggles for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, what did I get myself into?" Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Oh God, we came. Anyway, it was in January
Yeah.
also, but yeah, so I
the
can
worst.
relate. I can
Yeah,
relate.
yeah.
And then you were done with Arcadia. Did you start working right away?
So it was done with Acadia, and then I moved to Halifax, and then I started working. I worked at like Manulife. I worked at ADP, like all the, group benefits, like HR related things. And wow, so glad that all of that did not work out. Look at me now. I actually got fired from like my last job.
Why were you fired?
I plead the fifth. I'm just going to say that I was fired from my last job. And wow, I'm so glad I got fired from my last job.
But you didn't have any dramatic walkout. You just upped and left?
No, actually, it was to me, it was actually very funny because the reason that they gave me was, it didn't make sense to me. So when I walked out, I was laughing because I was like, what just happened? But actually, I'll tell you the story. About a year before I got fired, I started working on my clutches, on the handbags. And it was like a part-time thing. So it was like I'd go to work and then I'd get home and all I wanted to do was sew. And I remember towards the end of like 2009, and I kept on saying like 2010 is my year. Like I have to try and push this line, because also I'd gotten a little bit of press, and I was like, maybe I'm onto something here. And I got fired the first day of 2010.
Oh, wow.
So I literally walked into work
And you were
and
like-
I was fired. And I was like, well, I guess 2010 is my year. And then it just started from there.
And what made you decide to make clutches, though?
It's such a weird thing. Like I was in between jobs, and I was like, I need something to kind of keep me going while I apply for jobs. And I was like, I learned how to sew in high school, so like let me try and pick that up again. And I went and bought a sewing machine. And while I was like in the fabric store, like it was just this idea that just like literally came to me. It was like, oh, like make a clutch. And I'm like, I've never made a clutch. Where do I even start? And I remember like picking up a pattern and like some fabric, and I went home and I made this clutch, and it sucked. But like I was now in this space of like, okay.
You know what? When you said I made this clutch, I was expecting it was amazing.
No, it sucked. But I was now like in the zone of like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make this more my style, my aesthetic? And that's when the obsession like just happened. Like I was sewing like sun coming out. I was sewing, and I just like made it better.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where does your sense of style come from?
Probably like my mom. Like my mom was very like I remember growing up and like every Saturday I would go like shopping, and my mom had this like little boutique in Zim that she'd always go to, and she's probably still is obsessed with the color navy, like navy blue. And every time she walked in there, like I remember the women just kind of running around and like picking up all the navy blue things. And maybe that's where it started. Maybe even though like maybe I reluctantly went with her, but in the back of my head, it was in there. I was learning a lot subconsciously, and maybe that's where it started.
Yeah. And then when did this? So you made the clutches.
Yeah.
Where did he go to the clutches?
So the clutches, I just kind of, I built a website, and I was,
Did it yourself?
No, I had a friend do it.
Okay.
And like when I started doing the clutches, it's so weird, but like I remember I started to meet people that were more like me. Because I was now like zoning into my purpose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started meeting people that were more like me, and some person would be like, oh, I have a camera, I'm a photographer. And another person's like, oh, I make websites. And, so it was like literally all these people that sort of helped me to start were all in my path, literally in the space of like, a few months. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think, sometimes it's easy to start. Keeping it going is hard.
It's hard. Yeah, it's
And
hard.
what made you keep going?
I think it was just seeing how people reacted to the clutches, and then also I think when I was doing the clutches, then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm putting so much of myself into the clutches. I kind of want something for myself, and then that's when my blog started. So now I was like simultaneously doing both, and the more traction my blog gained, the more eyeballs were on my clutches, and they just kind of played off of each other.
And then you said you got a lot of press. I've seen when you Google your name, you always show up on all those global CTV things.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the ones I like is when they call you to talk about the Oscar people dressing
Yeah.
up. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And how do you feel about doing those shows?
I actually like them because I feel like my outlook on style is a little different from mainstream like fashion. So I always like doing that because at times I get to show people something that they wouldn't have considered at all, just because I see something totally different. So I definitely like doing those
And
segments.
you love colors, eh?
I do. Yeah, I do. Like when I wear black, I'm like I feel different. Like I actually do. I feel different. Even though like I might feel like strong, but I'm like, okay, I feel different. Like I feel like something's missing, Yeah.
Yeah. Then so with the clutches, what went on from there?
So with the clutches, I almost felt like the clutches sort of like went up, and then they kind of plateaued a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the blog just kept on going up. So I was now putting more time into the blog because I was getting more opportunities from that. And I mean, I would do the clutches like once in a while, but the blog and the writing for other people, that became so much bigger than the clutches. And so I paid more attention to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that's something most people don't know how to do. And I think I suffer for it sometimes where, but I really enjoy doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I really
Yeah.
enjoy this thing. And this
But
is
there's
the
more
one
traction. Yeah.
How did you did you find that easy to just transition to focusing on what was building traction and
Yeah.
letting kind of the clutch go to the background? Did that was
You
that
know
a
what?
tough decision?
It was pretty easy
Oh,
because I
shit.
think I know it's kind of weird, but like I think it's because as much as I love my clutches and how they started this journey for me, I knew I could do so much better with them. I needed the help. I needed help perfecting the design, making it better, making it competitive to some of the stuff that we're seeing that people are making these days. So I think it was easier for me to let go of it because it wasn't like I'm just gonna ditch it and that's it. It was like, okay, I can put it on the back burner for now, but I'm gonna go back at some point when I'm able to, and then really perfect it the way that I mean, just as I think there's a lot of potential in it. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back when it's time. Yeah.
Oh, hey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so well put together, man. I'm like, scatter brain here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Okay, so, and then the blog, what are some of the opportunities that the blog gave?
Oh wow, the blog was just like insane. Like it allowed me to go to fashion weeks in Toronto. Like, yeah, I think I maybe did like maybe 11 or 12 seasons of like fashion weeks like back to back.
Nice.
So like I'll do like the 2 every year.
Yeah.
I started writing for other people. And then I ended up interning at Fashion Magazine, which is like the most read fashion and beauty magazine in the country. So that was amazing in Toronto.
How long was that internship
6
for?
months.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
4 to 6 months. Yeah. Yeah. So that was an amazing opportunity. And that came because, of the blog. And also I ended up being on their style panel, which was like this like weekly article that they would put up. And it was like us showing Canada, like if their readers had questions about style, then like I was on the style panel and we would answer those questions. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you obviously have a crazy awesome sense of style. So that was
you.
like, whatever.
It's so weird because, that only really started happening like maybe 2010. Like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did Instagram start?
I was a late bloomer to Instagram. Like, no, seriously. I remember like everybody was on Instagram and I was just like, I don't know.
What
I'm
is that
okay
thing?
for now. And then like when I ended up joining, I was like, oh my God, why did it take me so long to do this? Like, yeah. So, I mean, I'm so glad I'm on the gram,
But like the thing is, sure you say you came late, but you.
Yeah.
And what was the trick? Oh, not trick. What was your process for that?
I think the initial growth of my Instagram came from, it was just simply sharing my style and then people would reshare. So the growth came from like more eyeballs on my style and then people started following me because I guess they found a kinship to it. But the major growth to my Instagram was when Instagram featured me on their Instagram.
Nice.
So that like...
Well, that was for Canada Day.
Yeah,
right?
that was for Canada Day, yeah. So they featured me on their Instagram, did a little story on me.
Wait, you know what? I like how you're making this amazing thing. Like, Instagram had me on Instagram. So let's deconstruct
Okay,
that.
let's deconstruct this.
First, you're on Instagram.
Yeah.
Did they DM you? And...
No, they emailed me.
Holy
And they
smokes,
were like,
wow.
yeah.
Wait. When you got that email,
No, I
did
thought I
you
was
think...
getting scammed. I for sure
You're like,
thought
who
I was
is
getting
this
scammed. I was
person?
like, I'm totally getting scammed. But she was like, no, this is not a scam. She actually put that in an email. She was like, I know people think it's a scam, but it's not a scam. I actually work for Facebook and like blah, blah. So would love to set up a call, like a video call with you and like get to know you. And I was like, okay. So yeah. And at the time, like me and my brother, we were kind of doing... we were like doing some posts together and then we just kind of both sat in the call and like talked to them and like it was really cool. And then just later on, just emails started to come through and they were like, okay, so we're thinking of doing this and blah, blah, blah. I didn't realize the magnitude.
I mean... I actually don't. I actually
Okay.
think you don't still react.
No, I don't. I really don't. But initially, I think I thought that they were going to put me on their website as a little blog post.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then when I saw my post on their Instagram, and then I saw the stories, and I was like, and then I literally had to turn off my notifications.
Yeah,
like
because it was nuts.
insane.
I can't even
It was
imagine.
insane.
And worldwide too.
Yeah, this was worldwide. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, I
And-
remember that day. It was. Was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago now. Yeah.
I was in Ottawa, and then I'm looking at this thing. I'm thinking, I know this person.
Yeah.
Well, I know this person. I'm like, holy shit!
It was insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
insane.
And then you immediately I was thinking. Your notifications was crazy. Like if you had a beep or whatever on your phone, people must think you're just.
It was insane. It was even for like weeks after that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
my notifications were off. Like I was just like, no, I'm not doing this.
And
then like you always kind of want to go and like see what the comments are. Listen, I have to give this out to my friends because I'm gonna say maybe like 80-90% of the comments were like very positive, like on the post. And then there's just always that,
There's
the trolls that come in.
Always.
But listen, my friends were going in on and I'm like, this is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, no, don't scroll down, Mo. Just walk away. Just walk away. Yeah. Just be happy the opportunity happened.
yeah.
Don't go to the comments.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that was great. So
Yeah.
that was kind of what
Yeah.
led to that.
That just really like catapulted
But
it.
the thing about you, I think one thing I like about you, and I'm super copying that is when you get this opportunity, you like make the best out of it. Like you squeeze.
Listen.
it.
I have to because I don't know when the next one's gonna come in. So, but I think one problem that I do have is I can squeeze the hell out of an opportunity,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's hard for me to celebrate that moment. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I've noticed that you're like,
Have you?
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to like, because I'm always thinking, okay, like what's next? Like let's move on. Like let's but I never just stop and be like, okay, wow, that was badass. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And like the CBC thing too.
Yeah.
Cause cause it wasn't just one, it was 3. I remember
I'm like- Yeah. I need to do better. I need to do better at celebrating my achievements.
It was
Yeah.
so Instagram happened and
Yeah.
then that happened. But let's talk about the CBC East Coast one. How did that happen?
So the CBC one started with a meeting. I got an email and they were like, okay, so we're coming to Nova Scotia and you're one of the people that we want to meet with. And you want to grab coffee? And I'm like, yeah. And so we went for coffee and then they kind of just broke it down. Like they wanted to do create more content and like use people like me that sort of have a beat on the city and like how people are living and sort of take advantage of our stories and like how we're sharing our stories. And I was like, I'm in. And literally a few weeks before I was set to go back to Zimbabwe for like 3 months, they were like, so I kind of pitched an idea to them and I was like, okay, this is my idea that I want to do like, a couple of episodes. But just to let you know, I'm traveling in like 3 weeks. And they were like, we're going to make it happen. Yeah, so we literally shot this thing in like 2-3 days. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the one was with Mitch and then one was with that couple.
Yeah.
That couple is super interesting.
They were so damn cool. Like, I just love being around them.
Yeah.
They're really, really
man.
cool.
I
Yeah.
like his yellow outfit. It's so yellow.
Yeah.
And
He's
it
a
must be
photographer,
nice to have,
yeah.
like, I think his girlfriend just buys, partner just buys him like the coolest Nike shoes.
Yeah, so that was part of the story. Like every year, I think they have a tradition of like, I think it's Christmas or either birthday, where they she gets a pair of sneakers for him, and then they design the sneakers together.
Yeah,
and,
like the Nike idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Like, man, but that yellow is like so
love it.
striking.
I love it.
You also had like an animation, like a comic cartoon video of the people you talk to.
Yeah, so CBC did that. So they kind
okay.
of collaborated with some artists based here in Nova Scotia and got them to kind of, use whatever their aesthetic is in terms of like how they draw and then kind of translate that episode into like a piece of art. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How I like Mitch is so stylish.
And he's so cool.
Yeah,
like
he is, right?
And so kind. Like he's just like, the best human being.
Yeah, I remember his episode. Him and his dog.
Yeah, he loves his dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And so how was your what was your idea for the direction of these 3 episodes?
So I wanted to pretty much sit down with people that I thought had great style and talk to them about how they dress for the winter, if they have any like winter traditions that they wanted to share. But also, it was just one of those things where I wanted to show also people how people live in Nova Scotia. And for the 3 people that I interviewed, like they all just had very different aesthetics from each other, you know. So that's one thing that I really wanted. Initially, it was actually supposed to be the first story was supposed to be on me, and then the other two.
Gotcha.
And then I said to them, I was like, listen, like I don't feel right doing that. Also, if we cancel me and then I have a third episode where I interview somebody else, then I can have it as diverse as possible for 3 episodes. Yeah. And they were like, okay, we love that idea. So yeah. Yeah, it just turned out really great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then CBC happened, and then we met finally because I've been trying to meet you. So then we met, and I remember that drive to your house, and you're saying, "Oh, by the way, I don't know if I should say this." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to talk with TEDx." I'm like, what?
I know. That was a couple of weeks before TEDx. Yeah. That was just amazing. Yeah, that was amazing.
And then actually I think I remember what made you say that because I was talking about you had to kind of introduce your series of episodes, and then I was like, man, you know, you have this way of I don't I don't like talking in front of people.
And I winged it at the event. I didn't even like write anything down. I was just like, I'm just gonna say whatever comes
you know,
to mind.
and that's what I'm saying. So I remember you saying that you winged. I was like, that was really. And then you said, oh, by the way, I'm so excited. So I'm like, oh, okay. How did that one happen?
TEDx was amazing. Like I just got an email, and it was just like it was an email. I just got an email, and the lady was like, so we're doing TEDx and would love for you to come and speak. And I was like, can I think about this? No, honestly, like I actually doubted myself for a second. I was like, I'm going to think about this and then I'll get back to you. And then it took me like a week or two to kind of...
What?
I know.
Man, you're like, yes.
No, but okay. Listen. And I think I actually kind of talked about this, and that's ended up being like my talk, what my talk was about.
Yeah.
But it was about finding depth in what I do online. Because for some people, they'll see what I do and they'll just think, oh, it's just an outfit. You know what I mean? And sometimes I fall into that trap of like thinking, oh, it's just an outfit. But there's so much more to what I do. There's so much more depth to my creativity and like what I'm, you know, contributing to the culture. And it actually helped me to kind of focus on that and say, okay, listen, there is depth to what you do. You can teach somebody something, and that's when I end up saying yes, because I was like, I have things to share.
Yeah, you do. Holy smokes, you do.
Yeah.
And like just going back to your post on Instagram, I know you're doing that arc that I was just talking about. But like the thing about it is you put yourself in everything you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of we have influencers but the thing about you is that you put you into everything you do. Even like the IKEA one.
Yeah.
I hate you actually. Because I'm just saying this one. So with the IKEA one, I remember you were actually out of the country then. When
I flew
happened.
back in before that.
So what? Email again.
Email. It's always an email. So yeah, they reached out and they were like, yeah, so we're kind of thinking of doing like a sleepover at IKEA, and like we want you to kind of be a part of it. And I was like, you actually don't have to pay me for this because I will come and do it for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just negotiated, and I said, listen, like I'm willing to cut my trip short. Let's make it worth my while, type of thing. You know? So it all worked out, and I flew back from South Africa, and yeah, it was fun.
Man, how was the sleepover though?
It was amazing.
Yeah, I know.
It was so much fun.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It was so much fun.
The thing, you know what? That's all. I was talking to someone about this.
Yeah.
I don't mind someone saying use this as long as they use it.
See, that's my thing. Whenever a brand comes to me, I've said no a lot. And if I see that there's no kinship between my brand and their brand, like, what's the point? My followers will see that right from so far away that this is not Mo. Like, this doesn't make sense. So I'm very picky when it comes to who I work with. And I mean, IKEA, like, listen, my house is IKEA. So that was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
And, they make things that are so in line with my aesthetic, very quirky and, things that people almost have to ask themselves, like, is this going to work?
Yeah.
That's
but
my
like
aesthetic.
that carpet in your room.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Listen, that whole snake is just it's the best thing in my room.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Ford.
Yes. Ford. I love Ford. Like, they've been very supportive of me. And it's been a few years now that I've sort of been partnering with them. And I get to drive some new cars.
Nice.
Some dream cars.
I like the one, I can't remember the car, but it was kind of brown, and you had a brown like outfit for the car when you wrote the blog about it. Was it Jeep or something? Like
was it a
SUV?
truck?
Yeah.
That was a really cool one.
Yeah,
that was a really cool one.
That was nice.
Yeah.
One thing when someone, especially in the city Halifax, is celebrated and they're kind of known for what they do, it's almost like, fuck, this person is gonna move. It's almost
a lot of people actually don't think that I live here. Like, I get that a lot. No, I do. I get it a lot, and also because I'm very like strategic when I shoot Halifax. I location scout before I shoot, so it's like
there's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. So it's like I might find something that somebody else might have driven by like 1,000 times, but they don't see what I see. So I'll post that, and then they're like, "Oh, like, where is this?" And I'm like,
"It's right there."
It's Adele. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people always think that I'm not here. I've had like friends be like, "Oh, somebody said to me like, oh, they thought you were in New York. You lived in New York now." And I'm like, no. In the North End, fam.
Talking about New York, I mean, so it's like now you pretty much shuttle between Toronto, New York, and then like you do
it
this
seems
circle.
like right now it's been those two places. Yeah.
So what are the things you keep going up to New York to?
I mean, New York, to me is like this year, one of my goals is to have more experiences. So I'm trying to like attend more events that are outside of the realm of like Halifax, and see how other people are like living and like doing things outside the city. And that's sort of New York, because I went to like a beauty carnival that Essence Magazine did a couple months ago, and like it was like the best feeling. Like I walked into a sea of Black women. Like I was like, wait, what? What is happening? There's so much beauty around here,
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I just needed at the time as a creative, like just to be around women that have the same experience that I do, look like I do, because that's another thing that's a little bit draining about Halifax is that I can go to events here, but I end up being the only black person there. Or if they are, it's like little sprinklings of like, when we had the CBC event and I walked in, I was like, okay, see you. I see you. So it was exciting because it was very diverse in there. Like that room had a lot of people that were just coming from different experiences, and I love that. And I want to see more of that in Halifax. But in circles where it's like influencer events, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I guess, it's one question that I didn't think I didn't want to ask, but I'm just going to ask. Being the Black girl, like kind of in all those places, how do you navigate that?
I mean, sometimes it feels heavy because you almost end up being the spokesperson for the culture.
Yeah.
And it feels heavy because you're like, don't look at me for anything diverse. You should be hiring people in your company to make it diverse there, But also, I mean, there's so many layers to this as well, because if they're not hiring people that make their workplaces diverse, it could also be a result of there aren't people in schools that are taking, let's say, marketing or like whatever, PR. So if a lot of Black people are not taking that, then they don't have a pool of people to kind of hire from. You know what I mean? So there's so many layers to it. But at the same time, like just being like the token Black girl is exhausting at times. Also, There's an advantage because, I'm harder to forget. Like, honestly, that's the truth. So I'm harder to forget. I can walk into a room and people know who I am. And listen, I'm going to take that and run. Okay? I'm going to take it and run.
And that's really what you've been doing just from your Instagram, from your blog. Yeah. And I mean, how do you, here's the one I know. So like Instagram, especially your Instagram is super curated. Yeah. How do you decide when you put things up?
I mean, the insights do help on Instagram. So you kind of see like, when people will engage with you. So of course that helps. But also, I think I'm different now from like, let's say a year ago, where I felt the pressure of like, I have to post every single day and like do this. Like now I don't. I can go days without posting on Instagram. Yeah. And I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. For me right now, it's quality over quantity. And I'm finding that really works for me. So, yeah.
I mean, like, another thing I think people that see your successes left, right, and center don't see is that you worked your ass off for years to get to, and then someone expects, okay, I'm going to start my Instagram today and next week going to blow up.
No, it's not going to work that way. Yeah. Like I've really put my soul into this and it's been like an evolution as well because listen, my style in 2011 was let's just be thankful for growth, okay? Let's just be thankful for growth and learning and becoming better because wow. There's some outfits that I look back at and I'm like,
not bad though.
One of my friends and I, she's a blogger as well. She's a blogger in Toronto. Her name is Asa Sise. And so when I went to visit, we actually did a video and we were roasting each other because we've been blogging for like the same amount of time. Yeah. So we went back to like our pictures from back in the day. We were literally like, when I tell you tears, like we were crying because the pictures were so bad.
Oh my God.
And like, and then one thing that like either like my mom or like her will always say is like, it's so funny, like you see your outfits from like back in the day and now like you've actually gotten the title of like Canada's best dress. Like just the growth, That always makes me laugh because sometimes I look at myself during the day and I'm like, "Ooh, what am I wearing right now?" But yeah.
But here's the thing though. Yeah. I mean, all these accolades, and I know you say you don't take time to enjoy them. Yeah. What would you do now or like in the future to handle it better than you do now?
Listen, I want to have a party. Like, after yesterday too, I'm like, should I have a party? Should I throw a party about it?
Okay, so we're building. We had the clutches, then we had the fashion shows, then we had Instagram saying, come and talk to us, and then we had the blog and Ford and IKEA and all those. And now Instagram said, by the way, we're giving you the check.
Let's make you official.
Yeah. So how did that happen? First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
How did that happen?
Listen, I applied for it a couple of times. Okay, a couple of times, and like each time I got declined, and I was like,
wait.
Yes.
So let's rewind. Instagram had you on their Instagram, and they didn't
listen. But you know what? This is the thing, though. I was like, listen, so much happens on Instagram that they cannot keep track of everybody.
True.
So I was like, you know what? Yeah. I won't hold that against them.
But that's another thing about you. Like, you're super tenacious. Because I think, like 1, 2, 3, I'm like,
listen,
okay,
I was like, I've done the thing, sis. Like, I was like, I've done the work.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah.
I'd be writing for people, I think it's time. So I think I got rejected 3 times. And then the 4th time I was like, listen, I don't know what else I can put here, And then yesterday I just got the notification. I was like, I'm in here.
I love the photo you put with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just
listen, okay, so let me tell you the process now.
Okay,
to like to choosing that photo.
Yeah.
So there was like a whole bunch of other photos, and I was like, okay, I need something in caption. What's my caption gonna be? And then in the photo, like my hand is up, like oh, pick me. And I was like, this kind of works. So I'm like, guess who got the blue tick? Me. And I'm like, okay, this works. And like I just have pictures that I've shot like over the last few months that I just like in this folder, just like waiting.
Photos?
So different photographers.
Oh,
But
okay.
in the last like month or two, I've been shooting with Brielle.
Oh.
Yeah. So
What's her Instagram?
Brielle Fraser.
Okay.
It's Brielle Fraser photos. I have to think about that. Yeah. But yeah, he's amazing, and he's been shooting my photos. For the past like month or two.
Yeah, I think some of the best photos he shoots are in the winter.
Yeah.
Like he had one photo of the center, whatever, the conventions, the new one.
Yeah.
Last winter. Oh my god,
Was so good?
Like
Yeah.
like frame it and
Oh, wow.
like print it. He's
Wow.
super good.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, and he does more like landscape and like buildings, but like
how
for
did
some
you-
reason.
how did you guys like the
So how we
connection
met?
is great.
How we met was he actually photographed me for the Black Business Initiative. So I was in their magazine. So literally,
fuck it.
see, that's another thing. See, I don't celebrate these things. So like,
You're
I'm
like,
so
oh
bad.
yeah, I was
I'm
just
so
in
bad.
the magazine. Okay,
I'm so bad. Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
That's like, you know what? Let's just call it spade a spade. Being black can be difficult.
Yeah.
And, when you have a place that celebrates black people and like the Black Business Initiative do great. They brought that lady for the convention.
Bosma.
Yeah. Like, they do amazing things like that. So when they're like, hey, you want to come here?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, he took my photo for the thing.
So bad.
Yeah,
That's
so
how
he
we
took your
met.
photo
Yeah.
for the
So
bag.
he
Okay.
came to my home and he took a photo of me for the magazine. And then later on, I was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to him and see, let's have like a trial, period and see if we vibe and everything. And we vibed.
Yeah. I guess, plus also he likes colors and you like colors too.
And like for me, when I shoot with someone, I need to have that rapport. Like if I don't feel comfortable around that person, my photo shoots are going to be crap.
Yeah.
So if I feel comfortable being myself, and he doesn't judge me when I do, my poses. My poses are out of this world. So if he doesn't judge me and he's okay with what I do, then we're good.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? The thing, one thing people don't understand, or like, change is good, change is great. But if you did X to get to here, don't change that X too much. And that's one thing I love about you. Like your style evolves, but your essence is
It's
you.
still there. Yeah.
I'm like, I can pick up something. Oh, this is who you are.
Yeah.
And whether you're wearing fucking plastic bag, it's
me.
comes out,
Yeah.
So I like that about who you are and what you do. And man, that blue chick, oh my
That
god,
blue chick.
man.
I mean, does it mean I'm gonna now get my checks on time? Like,
People like,
I want to know.
I think I think now you have the blue check. It should just equal plus one more zero.
Right? Just an additional zero.
One more zero, like okay. I want to keep this going, and I need to have you back. But I'll end it with this one. What advice would you have for a young black girl, young black guy out there, or just anybody out there that says, "Man, this is what she's doing. I don't want to be her, but I kind of want to follow that path."
My advice is to start where you are, because I think sometimes we try to wait until something's perfect.
Oh yeah,
and it'll never be perfect. Case in point, when I started my clutches, I can see someone holding one of my first clutches, and I'm like, "Oh, girl, can I make you another one?" But for them, it's like they want to be part of the story, part of the glow up, and people that have been there with me since then, like, are still riding with me. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Start where you are. People will love the journey. They will love the evolution of your brand, and they always want to be part of it, part of the story of like, oh, I remember, back in the day when she was doing this and doing that. So start where you are. Another thing is, don't fall into the trap of what's popular or what people are doing on their social media. Figure out who you are and create your own aesthetic. Yes, it can be, inspired by other people, but if you're somebody that wears bright colors, but you kind of see that, maybe somebody who has a black aesthetic is doing well and now you want to copy that, but that's not you. That's exhausting, and you don't want to do that. Create your own aesthetic and trust that the work that you're going to put in is going to come back in some way, and that's what I did. My style is not for everybody. And there's been times when I'm like, okay, do I need to change my style? Do I need to do this to get more partnerships or to, get more eyeballs on me? But I'm so glad I didn't change and I just stuck to what I know, because now when you say that, regardless of what I put on there, you still see my essence. That's all I've ever wanted, because people know who I am and people will see who I am in everything that I touch. And it's so natural to me to do that, for me to do that, because I'm not trying to be somebody else. So it literally is the most natural thing for me to do, because I'm just being me.
Wow.
So be yourself, figure out who that is. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be somebody else because they're getting a bit more clout. Like, no, don't do that. Just find out who you are, stick to that, and put in the work. Like, it's going to take work, but put in the work.
Man, now I need to see that TEDx speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should go. I'll
So
check
good.
it out.
It's so
once
good.
I'm
I
home.
was in my element. Like, I felt so
when
good.
You do those, like when you do those like you like the free, there's a freestyle. I'm like, oh my shit, I should write that down.
Yeah.
But it's recorded, so
Yeah.
I'll
You'll go back.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming.
I'm so glad we finally did this.
How do you feel when people call your name? Like,
So, okay, it's actually, I've started using my full name probably in the last year and a half now. Because before it was always Mo. But then I was like a year and a half ago, I was like, you know what? I want to go back to my full name. And I started using it in emails, and now everybody's using it. So I'm like,
awesome.
just took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm
for
so
coming.
glad we did this.
Me too.
Yeah.
We have to do it again.
Yeah, I'd love
Probably
that.
at your place.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because your house is so cozy.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love that.
This is the Blackout Podcast. Thanks for listening.